Hi guys, today's cooking segment is going to be how to make crepes. I know that you made them in class a couple weeks ago, but I'm going to give you a little video lesson refresher on how to make them so you can make them for your mom and dad. Do not cook anything without your parents' permission first. I'm using their ingredients from the refrigerator in the cupboard and from using the stove. So parents need to give you permission. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to crack 2 eggs into a bowl. And we're going to whisk them fairly well. All right, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to add a little pinch of salt. I'm going to add about a half a teaspoon of sugar. Mix that in. I have 2 cups of milk. You want to pour in. I'm using whole milk, but you can use factory milk, skim milk, skim milk, 1%, 2%, whatever your family has. And then we're going to measure a cup of flour. Now, when you measure flour, you don't scoop in there. It'll compact the flour. So what you want to do is you want to take a spoon and put it in your dry measuring cup. Take a knife, use a butter knife for this, and just scoop the top off. So we want to add our flour in and incorporate it. You don't want any lumps in it, so we're not going to dump it all at one time. We're going to just slowly add it by a third in. And you want to have lump free. This is nice and fluffy. It's all whipped. There are no lumps in it. Let's let it settle. Okay, it looks good. So our mixture is ready. I'm heating a skillet. And I want to put a little dash of oil in it. Some recipes say use butter. Butter has a tendency to burn if you don't use it correctly. You can use butter, but I like to use oil. You want to get your pan nice and hot and distribute the oil all the way around. So in my family, we always have this thing that our first crepe never turns out because the pan's not hot enough or it's not seasoned enough. So let's see if this time it breaks its pattern. I'm not feeling too hopeful though. When you have all your crepes done, you can fill them with jelly. If you have Nutella, you can fill them with Nutella. You can fill them with some apples. If you want to take some apples and you can take some apples, and I can show you how to do that in another video. Saute it up a little bit, a little butter, a little sugar, a little cinnamon, and you can fill your crepe with that. One of my family ways they like to fill crepes is with cottage cheese and egg, and then we bake the crepe. It's one of my favorite ways, but jelly is my favorite way to do it. You can do strawberries. We can cut up some strawberries, but I don't have that ingredient right now in my house, so we're just going to use jelly. So remember when we were showing you on how hot a pan is? You never touch the pan. It's on the stove, it's hot. It's getting there. A little bit more. I do want my pan hot. So in between your crepes, just let it heat up for like 20 seconds. You don't want it smoking hot though. Smoking hot is bad. So, oh, look how beautiful this lump-free batter is. So let's see if our first crepe turns out. So remember when we were doing our crepes, I'm using a soup ladle. You pour it in, and it's a tilt-a-whirl. Remember, we swirl it around real nice. We get it spread out really nicely. Rubber spatula, 2 different kinds. Depends what you have in your house. This is looking kind of thick. And it's looking like it's going to stick. So, you know what I said. In the Thornhill household, the first one, never turns out right. The thing about crepes is you want to get it nice and toasty on one side. Now this is a really thick one. I usually don't make them this thick, so maybe on the ladle, test your first one out. See if your ladle's too big, too small. I can tell you right now, this one is way too big, but it'll be nice and meaty. So, are we ready to flip it? We're getting there. You go from underneath, and you flip it. Oh, beautiful. You want that nice, beautiful brown color on your crepe. That looks beautiful, doesn't it? You don't need to cook it that long on the other side. You just want it to cook a little bit. Let's take a peek. Oh, it's almost ready. And what's nice about the crepe is you don't have to figure out how to get it out of the pan. You can just, it should release. So it's all nice and loose. You can just take it and slide it out on your plate. So let's do another one. You want to get that oil nice and hot. I have a little bit in a little saucer. Or you can put it in a little bowl with a teaspoon. We're gonna get nice and hot again. And then this time, let's try to do it with less in the ladle. Unless you like a meaty crepe. But crepe should be thin. All right, so it looks like we're nice and hot. I'm gonna put less in my ladle. I'm gonna put it in. Remember, we're doing that tilting. Tilt your skillet. Now, since my pan is hot, the second one is going to go a lot faster. Nope, we're not ready yet. Let's take a peek, just so you know what you're looking for. This is not like an American pancake where once you get holes on top, it's time to flip. This one is, you need to have it nice and golden underneath for it to flip. So we're getting there. So I'm going to take my little spatula and flip it over. And that is how you make a crepe. And we'll let that cook a little bit more on this side. Nope. Don't rush it. Don't turn your heat up really high. The one thing you don't want to do is burn it. So we're not going to crank up the heat and try to get this done quickly. The heat I have it on is a nice medium heat on the stove. Remember, you're not allowed to use the stove without your parents' permission, or they need to be there. So it's all ready. I'll show you what the other side looks like. So I'll flip it upside down, and that is what the other side should look like. So you have crepes. Thanks for watching. If you have some suggestions you want me to make, email them to me through the lab Google Classroom, and I'd be more than happy to teach you how to make it. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.